If you got friend drama, family drama, some difficult situation in life, and it's leaving you with a lot of questions in your mind, well, you came to the right place. This is Koz Knows. I've got some questions from some local teenagers. I'm going to read the questions and just give you some basic answers to help you get through some difficult times. Why do we stay with people who hurt us over and over again? Usually if you're dating someone over and over again that treats you bad, you haven't learned from the past relationships that didn't make you feel good. It's probably something deep from your past. In fact, I don't think you have to be a psychologist or a counselor to figure out you have some unfinished business. Maybe you keep on focusing on what's wrong with you versus what do I need to do to be happy. If you're in a bad relationship, if you keep on getting with people that hurt you, it's obviously a you thing. You can find a bad person to date pretty easily. If you're a girl out there and you're looking for a douchebag or some crappy guy to date, not too hard. Close your eyes, throw a rock in an open area. It'll probably hit at least 2 douchebags, maybe even 3 if you get like a good bounce. Trust me, it's not going to be difficult to find a bad guy for you that's going to bring up all your insecurities. Here's the question for you though. How do you stop yourself for once you get dating that guy and you figure that it's not a good guy for you, how do you stop yourself from continuing to date them? Well, you're going to have to be honest. If you're in a bad relationship and you stay in a bad relationship and you're continually dating people who are not good for you, you're not being honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Maybe use a friend, maybe use a counselor, someone that can be like that truth serum for you. When you try to give them all your BS, they go, nuh-uh, this person is not good for you. You know they're not good for you. Be honest with relationships to help you be honest with yourself, and you'll find out, you'll learn from the past bad relationships. You don't have to keep on repeating it over and over again. I heard a saying a long time ago that says you got to learn from your mistakes, but no one says it has to be all your mistakes. Talk to other people that have had bad relationships, figure out what they did, and then once you realize what you need to do, be honest with yourself until you actually do it. All right, last question today that we have time for. This is kind of a tough one. It says, why didn't Jordan High School talk about their recent suicide? Now, I know a handful of teenagers that go to a local high school here in Utah called Jordan High School. A couple of them have reached out to me in different ways and asked me, why have you not come down and talked to our high school? Why is our high school not doing this? Why is our high school not doing that? Well, I will tell you some experiences that I've learned why your high school's probably not doing the things that you think they should do. First and foremost, high schools are businesses and they're organizations. I'm being totally honest with you, and I'm not going to cut out any realness of the situation because it's that important. High schools don't want to get blamed for losing a kid to suicide. Now, before I go on, I'm not going to put any blame on Jordan High School. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I would find it really hard to believe if it was actually a high school's fault for someone passing away from suicide. I'm under the impression that usually the high school didn't have that much influence over the kid's life. And if the high school did have something that came across their desk that slipped through the cracks, that maybe someone didn't tell someone, or there was some sort of procedure that didn't get followed, I'm still under belief that no one wanted someone to die. The high school didn't want to do anything to cause this kid's life to end or to cause any family or friends or people in the community any hurt. But here's what high schools that I've found are really scared of. They're scared of being sued. They're scared of looking like it was their fault for not doing something, so therefore they go into protective defensive mode. This becomes a really big problem in my opinion. You can't help out your student body. You can't help out people that are dealing with the death and loss of loved ones, or a friend in this case, if you don't talk about it. So here's what I mean by talking about it. It's actually a lot more suspicious for the cover-up. Most people have heard the saying, the crime, or the cover-up's worse than the crime. And what that means is that if you try to cover something up, if there was any fault at all, it makes it a whole lot worse. So if it's Jordan High School, any other high school around here, Bingham High School, Brighton High School, Copperhead High School, the high schools around here that I personally know of have had suicides in the last couple of years, if you want to do right by your students, listen to what I'm about to say. Give them a voice. American International School of Utah, they did the best example of what I believe a high school should do when someone passes away from suicide. All the other high schools that I named, not so much. It makes it look shady when you're not talking about it. Oh yeah, the copycat rule, we're scared about kids, copycatting. I get it. If there's kids who are struggling in a high school, that already have mental health issues, maybe they're already having some suicidal thoughts and feelings, there is a fear because statistics and research has shown that copycats can come after it. But that's the problem. That's not the solution. From my experience, the solution is if you allow them to have a voice, any frustrations or anger that they are holding inside, that they are bottling it up, it gives them a chance to get it out. It gives them a chance to talk about it. People can't fix something they can't talk about. It is our job as adults to model for them that we're not scared of being blamed for it being our fault. We're more concerned about these kids having a chance to talk about it. And who's going to model that for them besides us? So Jordan High School, any other high school out there that may hear about this, I don't challenge you, I'm begging you. Be vulnerable, talk to the student body, tell them that you wish you could have done more. Legally, it does not admit guilt if you say you wish you could have done more. It actually opens up a dialogue and conversation. How many kid in a high school that loses someone to suicide that knows the kid who passed away isn't feeling that they wish they could have done more? Everybody thinks that. The parents, the school, the teachers, the counselors, the students, the student body. Here in the local high schools, we have something, a lot of schools have what's called a Hope Squad. At the school that I helped to deal with the suicide passing, a lot of the Hope Squad members, they felt bad because it's their job, not really their job, but they have the responsibility that they want to help keep the kids safe in their school. And when they couldn't help keep the kids safe in their school, they were feeling horrible. You know what I did? I got in front of all these students. I told them the same thing. I don't blame you for feeling that way. I felt horrible too when people that I was supposed to help out, they passed away from suicide. I wish I could have pulled a rabbit out of my hat. It's better to admit that you're struggling and that you wish you could have done more than to try to cover it up and not talk about it. So in answer to that question, I don't know the actual details why your school did not talk about it, but I know what Jordan High School and every other high school needs to do more of. You need to say, we're sorry. We're sad. We're scared. Let's not hide this and brush it underneath the rug to protect a possible, perhaps, maybe we might get sued, and let's put ourselves out there, full disclosure, full Monty, and being like, hey, you know what? We want to help. And if showing vulnerability and putting ourselves out there is going to help, that is a whole lot more important. If I was a principal, I'd be like, you know what? If I get fired to make sure everybody has a discussion to talk about this so it doesn't happen again, freaking fire me, hire me, fire me, hire me, fire me every single day for all I care, as long as the discussions happen. As long as these kids have an opportunity to talk. That's what I'm saying. So, thanks for our first edition of Koz Knows. Tune in every single week. We're going to be answering some questions from local teenagers. Maybe we'll give parents a chance to show them some love. I know there's a lot of parents out there with questions, but for now we're focusing on teenagers and young adults. If you got questions, you can hit us up at any of our Quit Trippin social media handles. That's QUITTRIPN. Ask your questions, slide in the DM, let us know what your questions are. We'll keep it all anonymous. You notice I didn't read anybody's names that these questions came from, but if you got questions, we'd like to give you some information.